Hello, seniors. It's Mr. Natividad.
Hi, everybody. Clearly, we missed you because we wanted to give you one more shot at seeing us and listening to us. So we have a big presentation, not too big. It won't take you that long to go through it, but we just wanted to give you a send-off and help you into that next step. And this is just a few of our thoughts.
Yeah.
Boy, so as you guys get used to and ready for your adulthood, whether you're going to college, whether you're working, whether you're going into the military, you're going to need to take time for yourself, and you're going to need to learn to manage some things for yourself. You know, your parents have raised you to 18 years old, and they will continue to raise you. But this is the time when you kind of take some autonomy for yourself and you start doing these things for you. If we're looking at a few of the things that we can think of as older adults and helping you guys as young adults go into your life, then this is our little touch on that, and we hope it's helpful. So, sleep. Honestly, you have been hearing us talk about sleep for 4 years now. We have talked about how detrimental it is when you don't get enough, and it is just super important as you go into college, and there's so many distractions along the way, that you get enough sleep, and enough sleep to be healthy. Healthy sleep will help you have a sharper brain. It'll help your mood be up. It'll help your heart be more healthy. If you're an athlete, sleep is critical to the cells in your body regenerating, and that's all of you guys working out and athletics too. But the cells in your body regenerating, your brain regenerating. It keeps your blood sugar steady. It keeps your blood pressure steady. So recommended 7 to 8 hours. We know that sounds probably like a lot to you guys, but on the flip side of that, if you're getting more than 9 or 10 hours a day, that's not healthy either. So you need to find the balance of your sleep and find time management in your everyday life to help you with your sleep schedule. There is a danger of napping too much versus power nap. Everybody recommends power nap. If you get a chance to get 20 to 45, 20 to an hour of a power nap during the day, you just don't want to sleep for 2 and 3 hours in the middle of the day. That will interrupt your evening and nighttime sleep pattern. Nutrition. Okay, so when you go off and you start living on your own, nutrition is huge. You're taking care of that all on your own. It is not a rumor about the freshman 15, and campus meal plans are almost like going on a cruise ship. Food is available to you all the time. It is very easy to get into a habit of eating 24/7. And so you need to make sure that you are being really healthy about what goes into your body, fueling your body. We wouldn't put diet soda into our car gas tank. It would ruin the car. So you need to think about what you're putting into your body as far as nutrition goes. Water, huge. Water is, we see you guys walking around with water bottles at school, and you really do a great job with that. Continue. You want 64 ounces plus. So goal for the water is at least 80 to 100 ounces a day to keep your body fueled and healthy. So keep that in mind as you work forward with that. I will tell you about meal plans. When my daughter went to college, meal plan, we thought, okay, you're 3 meals a day, way too much. And so I would think if you had an option, depending on where you're living, if you're in a dorm, I would do 2 meals a day as a meal plan. If you're living in an apartment, maybe just 1 meal. So if you're on campus, you get 1 meal a day, but it's cost saving for you guys too. So think about that and actually what you need versus what you can keep in your apartment or keep in your dorm room in the small refrigerator that you'll probably have. Let's see, cooking healthy food. What a great opportunity for you guys to start learning to cook. Maybe this summer is something you jump on and take one night a week at home where you do the meal. So just start thinking about that, because making your own food and shopping for yourself is very important. Exercise. Whether you are someone that exercises regularly or not, movement, and you probably have discovered this in the 3 months that we have been sequestered and in our homes. Like, movement is super, super important. So you need to, at least 3 times a week, at least 30 minutes to an hour would be bare minimum. So make sure you're finding something at your new school, something outside of your work hours if you're not going to college. Anyone that's going into the military, we know you guys are going to get a workout. So make sure you find time within your day and within your week to have movement. If you have an opportunity to join, you're going to need some kind of physical class for part of your college requirements at some point during the 4 years. But find a class that's cool, like a yoga class or Pilates class or weightlifting, weight training. If you're in if you played sports in high school but you're not going to be a college athlete, there's a ton of options with intramural sports. What a great way to meet people too is to play intramural sports. Whether you are an athlete or not, you can go have a ton of fun with that.
And meet new people. It's a great place to meet new students, people that you wouldn't have met otherwise. But don't overlook the simple exercise of walking. You guys, sometimes we think that working out has to be crazy strenuous, and it doesn't. You know, walking every single day a few miles is something that can have some very lasting health benefits to all of you. So yeah. All right. So mental health is a huge piece for all of us. I think on a daily, it's being honest with how we're feeling. You know, when we're waking up in the morning, you know, what are some of those first thoughts that are coming to mind? And being honest about it, but also being open with it. You know, making sure that we are keeping in contact with our family members, with friends, and to let them know, you know, when maybe you're not doing well. I can remember back to when I moved away to Santa Barbara, which is just 2 hours up the coast. But 2 hours is far enough away to where you can't come home every weekend. And so those connections sometimes are difficult to not have, to not be able to see people that you've seen in your life for the last 18 years. And now you can only talk to them on the phone, or now you can only, you know, Skype and all these other things, but you don't have that personal thing with them. So it's just really important to maintain that steady contact and know it's possibly going to be hard. As I said, that first year for me was difficult, and I had to, on my own, with the support of my family and friends, you know, just talking people about how I could best navigate it. And I'm so happy that I did, because the next 3 years were wonderful. And I was very much adjusted to then living on my own. You know, schools offer a variety of resources, just like we at Diamond Bar High School do, but probably even more so. You may not always have that personal connection, as many of you did with your GLCs, but you can develop that if you happen to go and see a counselor there. You'll be talking with your academic counselors and setting yourself up to make sure that you're on track with whatever course of study that you're choosing. But there's also a lot of resources, either through your own personal insurance that you could access, or campus services as well. And I think for some of you, it's worth looking into, because if you have really good health insurance, you don't necessarily need to have the on-campus insurance that they kind of bill you for without you knowing. You could actually save some money by not having that, but please make sure that you have your own personal insurance. You know, as much as we're looking out for ourselves, you guys are wonderful about looking out for others. And that's something that continues into college and your entire life. We want to make sure that we're speaking up for individuals when maybe they don't have the strength to do so. Or I wouldn't even call it strength. Maybe they don't have the words or knowing how to kind of go and seek help. And sometimes we need to make sure that we're that person, that we're that really good friend that goes and maybe speaks up for someone and brings some attention to a situation so that they can get whatever it is that they need to move past what they're going through. So just really important that you're looking out for others and yourself, and you're being open and honest with other people. On that note, you need time to recharge. I think a lot of you saw this over the last couple of months. For the last 3.5, almost 4 years, you guys worked so incredibly hard. I would talk to students with 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, which is nowhere near what we need. And with this time away from school, because of everything that's been going on, I think a lot of you have had time to reflect on what you need and really to see how your mood can possibly change for the better with a good amount of rest. I know I found that. And so I think it's really important that you guys get out there, find time to recharge, do all kinds of things. I mean, fresh air, sunshine, amazing ways to just recharge yourself. Alone time is great as well. It's good to go and be with others. It's also really good to have time for just you, whether it be picking up a book or just going and sitting somewhere and taking in the landscape. I'm staring at a screen and I'm telling you to stay away from it. And I'm going to do that in about a week here, where I turn all my phone off, computer off, and I'm just going to go recharge. So make sure that you guys are trying to find that time as well. And balance. One of the things I learned in college was I had to handle all of my responsibilities first, and I got that done, and then I went out and had my fun. And this way it wasn't hanging over me. This way I didn't have something I had to do later on. I could just be done with it. So make sure you have some good balance there.
That going back to that first year of college, like Mr. Natividad was talking about, as I look at mental health and recharge time, these little subject areas we're talking about, you need to give yourself some grace that first year into college. And again, this fall might look different. We're in a weird situation. We're hoping you all can start face-to-face college in the fall with your universities you've chosen, or the local community college. We hope it's face-to-face and not online. But there is a lot of changes that happen this first year, and you guys have got to give yourself some grace with what something feels like. If you're moving away from home this first year, it can be the first 6 months can be very daunting, and you might think like, I can't do this. I can't be away from home. Give yourself that time. Give yourself that time and have faith that it will evolve and it will adjust, and you will get into a place where you can find that balance for yourself. So just continue to think about that as you get closer to getting ready to go and your moving time.
Yeah. So social wellness.
As we go into social wellness, that is also independence and finding your time on your own and making your own rules. Sounds glorious. It sounds fabulous. It's like, I know some of you are like, I'm out. Here we go. I'm so excited. But again, like I was just talking about, it's a whole transition that is very interesting. And you are going to make some good decisions and you're going to make some bad decisions. And the bad decisions are the things you grow on. The good decisions are the ones you put in your back pocket and go, okay, like I'm so proud of myself for being able to do this. So as you start making your own rules, we're going back to finding that positive place for yourself and not something you're going to look back on and go, I so regret that I did that. Again, give yourself some grace if something like that happens. But making your own rules has got to come from a place of respecting yourself and making sure that you are, this is something that you would recommend to your friend, doing something and taking care of your own self. Okay, roommates. Roommates is a tough one, you guys. Very tough. Many of you are going to go into a situation where you're looking online and you're meeting people online to get a roommate for college. And I will tell you, to this day, the person they stuck me with as a freshman in college, she is one of my best friends to this day. I got lucky. But she and I together had various roommates that didn't work out. And living with someone in tight quarters, whether it's a small dorm room of 2 or sometimes 3 people in a tiny, tiny dorm room, or an apartment you share with somebody. You will find the people you click with, but you need to be very verbal about rules of the home. And so then that goes back to making your own rules. Be very open and honest conversation with roommates about how things should go, and what you guys need to be able to coexist and to live together, especially when you don't get a choice of somebody. And so, you know, some people will stick and some people won't, and that's okay too. Making organizations your own. So one of the things, huge recommendation as you leave the nest, go out into the world, is finding whether or not you're working, or going to college, finding the pieces, the places where you fit. And the only way to do that is to go and explore broadly. So let's say you're going to a new university, we recommend that you join everything possible. Something will stick. This is where you're going to meet your people. This is where you might find an organization that speaks to your heart. You guys have done a ton of stuff with your college applications and all of the internships and the jobs and the things you've done to get you to where you are now. You need to continue exploring that when you get to college campuses or as you go out into the workplace. If you go out and get a job, it's very easy to just have this small window of vision. We're asking you to find things out in the community, on your campuses, that broaden your vision. And that means you might join a ton of stuff, and it can be good. Something's going to stick. You're going to find your people. You're going to find your place. So make organizations your own. Safety. Campuses are so great about talking about safety, you guys, but you need to be really cognizant, and you really need to be aware. And this is for guys and gals. This is for both of you. You need to create some kind of buddy system that you have a wingman. And you see the next bullet there is alcohol and drugs. That's a tough one to talk about. But when people start making their own rules and having their own lifestyle, there are times when you might explore that. We would say, please take care of yourself, and clearly you can't drink until you're 21. We would hope that drugs is out of the picture and not even a part. But you need to take care of each other, and you could be that person for someone else if someone has overindulged. But we know that a lot of people will explore, and you need a buddy system, and you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, and watching and watching and making sure that you are that you're making the good decisions for yourself.
So that it's a perfect tie-in with adult relationships, and we don't always make good decisions when our minds are impaired, and that kind of ties into alcohol. It ties into some of these bigger topics as well. And I know it is something that every university, college, job place is now starting to educate individuals on, and that's Title IX. And it's making sure that individuals understand their rights. It's making sure individuals understand what to look for, and it makes sure they know that there's some real dangers that are out there. And that's going back to the buddy system and alcohol and drugs. It's about making good decisions, and also making sure that you have somebody looking out for you, so that you guys are both kind of, okay, there's two brains kind of thinking about it or more. Is this something that we should be partaking in? Is this a dangerous situation? And so forth. And so as you get older, these adult relationships become one in which become difficult to navigate, because there are a lot of things where individuals can get into a lot of trouble if they are not navigating them in a safe and responsible way, and one that is mutual to all individuals. And I think a big part of it is where is it appropriate to have some of these more adult relationships. The workplace, in a classroom, it's not necessarily appropriate, so you just have to be very careful and make sure that you're navigating with a lot of that common sense that you guys already have. And if you're not sure, talk to people about it. Get advice on how to navigate situations. There's going to be a lot of new opportunities for you guys out there. A lot of opportunities to make new friends, to join clubs and activities, as Miss Auten was saying. You guys are going to have moments where you can start working in the field that you want to get into through internships. Many of you have already done that in high school. But it's also a time where you can travel and see the world. And again, it's just always operating under this mindset of being safe and making sure that you're okay. Whether it be in the workplace, whether it be in a classroom, in a dorm room, or traveling the world, just knowing who you're with, and knowing that, you don't know everyone, and it's not something to just go and give somebody your trust, so to be safe in how you're navigating everything. But with these opportunities, it's kind of what Miss Auten was saying. You're going to try clubs and activities and everything else until you start to find things that really speak to you and ones that you want to carry on for a long time.
One more before we leave this slide. I would be amiss to go if I didn't go back, and the one thing that you guys have total control over is your personal self. And with the drugs and alcohol, if somebody, we hear stories all the time, right, of somebody who has too much alcohol and they then lose control of themselves and allow that control to go to somebody else, whether it's a date and it ends up being a date rape situation, whether you're at a party and you don't have your buddy, you let yourself now become incapacitated. You're giving that freedom of you taking care of yourself to somebody else. Don't ever put yourself in that position to lose that kind of control where you can't take care of yourself. So always keep that in the back of your mind as you are going and having fun with your friends and doing those things. Always take care of yourself.
All right, let's talk about some academics. So goals, expectations. We need to be honest with ourselves, and I firmly believe that it's very important for us to set goals that are sometimes difficult to attain. I think that's good for us as individuals to grow, but we also need to be in tune with reality and where we're at, and to make sure that if our goals are ones that are maybe taking us down a road that we're not meant for, to adjust those at times. I am not on a spaceship right now into space. I'm sitting in front of you as a counselor. There was some subjects where it was just too much, or not the way my mind is set up to think about things. So it's just being in touch with reality, knowing that you're going to be experiencing an extreme amount of competition. You guys are going to universities, colleges, and every one of those individuals is there because they want to be there. And that's a big difference. And so what you have to understand is that every single person is trying to go for a lot of the same things that you are. And that's okay. And that's actually healthy. But just being honest with yourself and knowing sometimes, maybe things are going to change just a little bit. Maybe what we had planned isn't going to work out exactly as we have planned. Like, we're going to have to detour a little bit, and that's okay. One of the stats that's up there right underneath majors and future careers is 80%. That percentage, 80%, is the percent of individuals that change their major at least one time while in college. 80% of college students change their major once. Hear that. And know that there's actually departments on campus to work with you guys for once you end up changing your major, because more than likely you will. We all think that we want to be certain things, and maybe we can't attain it, not because we're not bright enough, but maybe it's not meant for us. I'm just not happy. I began school at Santa Barbara as an economics major, thinking that I wanted to be an accountant or in those lines. I was good at math, all of those things. And yet I started doing it and I hated it. And I ended up changing my major based on experiences that I had while I was in college. So just know it is absolutely okay. You are never stuck. You can always change the direction of your life, especially if it's one in which you are not happy doing. And I really want you guys to know that and to think about that. You can always change directions and end up in a great place. Okay, many careers out there.
I've had seniors come back after the first year of college and say that this campus just didn't fit me. Can you give me another letter of recommendation? I'm reapplying to somewhere else for my second year of college. You can make changes if it's not fitting who you are.
Yeah. And there's many different schools, you guys. Yes, a lot of you guys are at universities. Some of you are at community colleges. Some of you are at vocational schools. There's many different ways to get to a point where you're able to live. And it's not always about how much money you're making. I should say it's not about that. That is something that certain careers provide you maybe with a lifestyle that you want. But just know there are many great careers out there, many great vocational schools that lead to great careers where you can live very happy and comfortable life. And I think the bottom one there, success can be found through many avenues. And I hope you guys understand that, that success is not measured by a career that you attain. There's so many things that factor into that. But it does, if you look at that chart to your left, there's a lot of things that factor into why people are successful. So think about those things.
As you go through, one of the big things that is going to be an important person on a campus for you is going to be your academic counselor. If you're in a certain major, that's the person that's going to walk through each year with how and what you need to take and how you need to do that, how you need to get registered. And if classes are full, what you could do, and those are the people you need to talk to. So you will get to know your academic counselor on campus. Your schedule will be set up. You will hope to graduate in 4 years, but this is going to go back to what we were talking about just a second ago. Nothing's set in stone. And if 4 years, you need a little extra time, there is nothing wrong with that. It does not dictate failure or success. It just dictates time. And so time, as we have found out in these last few months, is just something that exists for us. It doesn't matter when, what, how, or who. It matters on how passionate you are, how focused you are, how things lay out for you. Sometimes it doesn't lay out that you get a class that you need, and so you have to do it a different way. So just keep that in mind. There is no, it's not something to get all ramped up about or have anxiety about. It always works out in the end, and you got to keep that in your head too. Like there's always a way for this to work out. So just keep that communication with your campus or with your boss or military, with your person that you're there with. So it always works out in the end, you guys. Just take deep breaths, inhale and exhale, and you'll find your way. So the big difference, you guys come from a very competitive high school, no doubt, right? And you all have worked incredibly hard on the things that who you are on our campus, on the Diamond Bar campus. Now, a lot of you are going to be jumping into a pond where those fish were the big guys on campus too. Like they were the people that worked hard just like you did. So it's hard then to get into college and start comparing yourself with people that are just now like you, because then you're thinking, oh, well, maybe I'm not as bright or intelligent or as I thought I was, and that's not true. You are, I'm going to go back to what I was talking about above.
Yeah.
It is your path, your journey, yours alone. What you choose to do with it has nothing to do with anybody else. You've already learned to work hard. Your parents have raised kids that work hard, and more power to them and more power to you guys. It's okay. You're a big fish in a big pond too, but you're your own little fish. You are. Just keep your focus going forward, you guys. You got this. Yeah.
Right. Adulthood. So now is a great time to just pick through the many responsibilities that you're soon going to have and to start getting help on them. I'm hopeful that all of you know how to do your own laundry, but if you don't, you better get on it because you're gonna have to do it very soon. And it's something that's really easy that all of you can be doing now and helping out at home. How to cook, Miss Auten talked about that earlier. Use this time to find some healthy, easy meals to make, because that's one of the things that you're gonna wanna do in college is just quick meals that you can put together really quick. Shopping on a budget. College is expensive. And so you're not going to have these unlimited resources to go and buy whatever you want. And so you need to be very wise with what you're purchasing and making sure that you're budgeting your money so that it lasts you for a month, a few weeks, for however long that lump sum of money that you have needs to last. Doctor visits. I think many of you guys have had mom and dad making all your doctor's appointments for you. And now this is something that you're going to have to navigate. So what does that entail? How easy is it to do? Voting, 18 years of age. This is something that is just a joy to be able to do and to have a say in this world. I think with everything that's going on around the nation right now more than ever, it is important for all of you to get out there and vote and let your voice be heard with however you feel about things. And then there's public transportation, there's renting apartments. These are really big things, especially the renting of apartments and what it means to enter into a lease agreement with someone and what it means in terms of you now being responsible for a place if damages occur or anything like that, or if you're missing your monthly payments. Another big piece to think about is workplace habits. You know, some of you, you chose that 7 a.m. class start time, or you chose that 8 a.m. class start time, and this past year had a really difficult time making it to school. You can't pull that in the workforce. You can't go and show up 5 minutes late every day. They don't give you tardy slips. They give you a warning. And soon after that, you're let go. They're going to give that job to somebody that wants it. And we show that by being punctual. We show that by dressing and showing that we're prepared for whatever it is, whatever place we're working at. And just by having really good habits on even how to interact with others, you know, and how we're treating people, and giving respect rather than expecting respect to be given, giving it to everybody that you meet and being kind and polite and just good people. And so these things are now things that you all can start working on. And it's a great time to begin having those conversations with your parents. And even as you start college, having them with the college counselors.
So getting into good financial habits, you'll start managing money on your own again, or now you will start managing money on your own. So a couple of good things to remember. The bullets right here, you have savings, you have credit cards, you have budgeting. You know, getting a credit card could be a good thing, but how are you going to manage that? It's a good way to build credit, but you should go into a credit, and you're going to get so many offers of credit cards. That happens that first year of college. It's just crazy. But you need to go into that thinking, I am going to pay that off every month. The last thing you want to do is build and have to just do a minimum monthly payment, you guys. It's terrible. So if you choose that, if you choose to get a credit card, and you need, your goal is to pay that off every month. And so you need to have income to be able to pay off the expenditure. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself that way too. Savings and delayed gratification. You need to take whatever your income is, if you have a small job in addition to working, or if you're just going into the job workforce right now, you need to plan a good percentage of your money to go straight to savings. If you get used to paying yourself first, then you will get used to working with a certain number of money, a certain amount of money per month without the savings part of it. So put money into savings first, 10%, 15%, whatever you can manage. Always pay yourself first. You're like a little bill. Your savings account's like a little bill. I put Dave Ramsey on here because he has a fabulous thing for students going into college. So if you look him up, he is cash is king, man. He doesn't like credit cards. And he doesn't like student loans either. But we all know that if we need something and there's a means to an end, then we need to go that direction. But it's a great educational program for students going into college. So if you're interested in looking him up, he's a great guy, and he is, like I said, cash is king, no debt, and it's a great way to start out college. Good relationships and habits, maintaining and growing friendships. You're going to keep some of your friends from high school. You're always going to have a relationship with your besties from high school, but you're going to meet so many people along the way, and finding them. It doesn't, for some people, it's one or two people they connect with. For others, they gravitate towards a group of people. So maintain and grow new friendships. You might wander around campus or at a new workplace going, ooh, is that person somebody that I will connect with? Is that person someone I'll connect with? So, just find your honesty and be a good human. And those relationships and new friendships will foster themselves on their own. Sharing feelings, enjoying hobbies, trying new things. We talked about this earlier, but expand and take risks with getting out into your new community. If it's a work community, if it's a college community, if it's a military community, risk a little bit and share and listen. Have we learned nothing in the last few weeks, but we need to listen? And that's part of kind of what I was thinking about through all of this when COVID lockdown started and we were looking at nature and not as much smog and people off the roads. And one of the first things I said to my friends was, okay, we all need to listen. Mother Nature, God, whatever is telling us, we need to listen. And now with what's happened over the last few weeks, we need to be active. We need to be verbal, but we also need to listen more than ever about what's happening to be able to hear. If you're listening just to speak, it's not going to move you forward. You need to listen to absorb the information. Okay. The last little thing we put in the rise into love. You are going to have new relationships. Falling into love takes, that's the term that everybody uses. But if you rise into love deliberately and consciously without falling into love and losing yourself in relationships, just that little switch of a vernacular, of a way to phrase it, you need to, you're going to meet and you're going to find people that you're dating that will have pieces you need. And if you break up, you're also going to learn the pieces that you don't need from a relationship. So rise into love. And when you find those people that you connect with, whether it's friends, a friendship love, whether it's relationship love, then you're approaching it the right way. Don't lose yourself in a relationship. A relationship is a meeting between two people and a togetherness with being also individuals.
Love that. This is where we say goodbye.
Farewell makes me sad.
Until we see you again, I think is the message here really, because we didn't get to say a proper goodbye to all of you. And I know I'm very much looking forward to the first event that we can have for the class of 2020. And I can't wait to see you all in person and wish you well.
Please keep in touch. We are getting ready. When we make a transition from one school year to the other, the seniors, we turn off their school accounts, their school email accounts. So please, reach out. Let us know how things are going as you move into the fall and your new normal. We would love to hear from you. Gosh, graduation day was amazing. I told Mr. Natividad, I have never worked so hard in my life, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., and that last piece, just dancing all night, was just amazing. But it was an interesting way to finish. And normally we walk off the stage of graduation, we done. But it was, not being able to hang with those last couple months at school with you just was different. So we would love to hear from you. I have one thing to share before we finish, before Mr. Natividad talks to you about the senior survey. I got married. Some of you know this, some of you don't, but I was waiting until after my seniors graduated to change my name. So next year with my freshmen will be my new name, and Mrs. Zimmerman, A to Z. I went from Auten to Zimmerman, kind of funny. But if you're ever hunting for me or looking for me, it's going to be Zimmerman. So yay me.
You guys just remember, we are here for you always. You are worth it. Always know that. And if you ever need, you can always reach out to Miss Auten and I, and we would be there for you. There is a senior survey that we sent out. Your emails, I believe, are going to be turned off very soon. I think as soon as this weekend, So please get online, get to that senior survey and complete as soon as possible. And basically it's just asking you about what you're doing next year. So if you can get that back to us, we can really use it in guiding future students. And we would obviously keep all your personal information private. Nobody would see that.
So go out and be the sunshine, and just know that we love you, and communicate, email, call anytime.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.